Welcome to Inkhaven Presents, Readings from the Archive, where I invite writers I read to bring essays to us, read them, and discuss them. My guest this episode is Thessaly Blue, who is one of the Inkhaven residents, whose writing I've been enjoying. Thessaly, what have you brought to read today?
I brought a piece of fiction that I wrote on the second and third day of Inkhaven called Not the Words of One Who Kneels.
Wonderful. I really enjoyed reading it. Is there anything we should know about it before we hear it?
Well, one of the other residents called it Lynchian quasi-erotica, and I think that's a pretty good descriptor.
Wonderful. Well, I think with that, that's enough information. Here is Thessaly reading that.
Not the Words of One Who Kneels by Thessaly Blue. Red sun melts into hard stars. We're slicing down the highway at 82, listening to The Volta. My driver's license sits in my pocket. He never bothered to get one. He's driving anyway. What are you thinking about? He asks. I'm thinking about a news story I heard once about a home invader who attacked a vacationing couple in a lake house and left them with their eyes, ears, and tongues cut out in mute oblivion forever. I'm thinking about how hopelessly dependent we are on things beyond our control. About how if I lost my phone, I'd be completely helpless, like a naked vagrant dropped in the middle of a desert. I don't tell him any of this. I say, I'm thinking about where we're going to sleep tonight. There's a motel another hour down 96, he says. We can stop there. He says it almost as if we know where we're going. I met him 2 weeks ago in a diner. He was huddled alone at a corner table, and I went and sat down across from him. No invitation, no explanation. I was desperate. It was the only time in my life I've ever taken a desperate action and had it work out in my favor. I think that probably means something. Cedric's voice is screaming out of the old car speakers. I go back to tapping aimlessly on my phone. A notification pops up, then another, right away. My stomach tightens and my face goes cold. That fucking bastard, I say. He locked me out of my bank account. My husband, who I'll never see again. Well, that was inevitable. We have no money now, I say. We can't stay anywhere without money. That's a bold assumption, he says. Don't worry about it. I have an idea. I look at his face, an expression of Ophidian calm. Warmth blossoms from between my legs. 20 minutes later, we're driving through a hillside district where the houses are stately, unblemished by porch junk, and mostly lightless. Second homes. He parks the car in a dark part of a side street and says, "Get out." I freeze. What are you going to do? Where are we going? All right, he says. Stay here. I'll be back soon. And he's gone. For 15 minutes, I squeeze my body into a ball and compress it against the passenger door, seeking a comfort that doesn't arrive. He reappears. Come out now. It's okay. The universe provides. The house is brick with patches of ivy, gabled roof and columned porch. The front door is unlocked. I don't ask whether he found it that way. We step into a palatial living room. Brown leather couches, white carpet, high windows. Large-scale art adorns the forest green walls. A frame catches my eye. At first it seems to be a portrait of a wealthy gentleman, frock-coated, grandly seated in a room that looks oddly similar to this one. But on closer inspection the proportions are all wrong. The man is too large, the chair too small. And his facial expression isn't one of haughty remove. Instead, he wears a look of unguarded innocence and pure, devotional attention. I can't help but think of a dog. I'm overcome with a strange euphoria. My companion leads me, hypnotized, up the stairs. The master bedroom halts my breath. There's a king-size bed, immaculately made up in a blood-red duvet. Glass walls overlook a night garden. And all around the room, arranged on a riot of shelves and pedestals, are dozens of wax anatomical models. Dissected heads with eternally open eyes, skull and skin cut away to reveal the brain or the vocal cords. Flayed men flaunting muscle and bone. And the centerpiece, positioned directly across from the bed on a divan, a wax woman reclining in apparent ecstasy, her abdomen subtracted to reveal the viscera, the string of pearls around her neck, an uncanny accent to the gore. He sits next to me on the bed and looks into my eyes. My breath hitches. I'm addicted to his eyes and his hair and his clothes. But most of all, I'm addicted to his patience. I adore how he can just stop and look at me at a moment like this. I adore that he wants to. He slides the straps of my tank top off my shoulders, first the left, then the right. One arm encircles me, the other gropes my breast as he pulls me into a kiss. He's testing me, testing my capacity, my composure, my nerve. I'm rippling all down the core of my body, but I hold it together and kiss him back as if I've done this all before. He grasps the back of my neck and guides me down onto the duvet. Across from me is the anatomical Venus, my mirror image, my teacher now as I lie back and open myself to him. This isn't our house. He pulses his thumb over the place between my legs, and suddenly it might as well be our house. He's looking into my eyes as he tugs on the strings of my nervous system. My gaze darts back and forth between him and the languishing Venus across the room. Did I hear something down the hallway? We're rumpling the sheets. The owner will be able to tell someone was here. For all we know, they could be on their way back right now, driving up the hilly streets, whistling a tune of ignorance. His fingers slip beneath my underwear, testing for entry. They slide into me without resistance. I can't stop looking at the anatomical Venus across the room, the slick underside of her liver, rib cage viewed from the inside, chin upturned in worship. I think about how close his fingers are to my liver right now. I feel the slight impression of pearls against my neck that are not really there. His hand is driving harder now, controlling me. I could almost cry. I could almost scream. Someone might hear. He leans down and whispers something in my ear. An involuntary scream erupts from my throat. At that moment, something moves. In the window's reflection, I can see the doorway to the room behind us, and in that doorway looms a towering figure. I let out a mutilated gasp and whirl around to face the stranger. My paramour faces him too. The stranger says nothing, doesn't move. He's a silhouette in shadow. All I can tell is that he's enormous, rotund, the shape of a giant egg. "Don't move," says my companion. Does he carry a gun, I wonder? He probably carries a gun. But the stranger doesn't listen. He takes a step into the room, into the light. "Nah," he says. And all I can do is laugh. It's the man from the portrait. That dog-like quality of attentive innocence animates him just as clearly in the flesh. I understand instantly that he is mute, his development arrested at some forgotten stage of early childhood. He smiles a beatific smile at us, depraved intruders in his world. I notice that he's holding something in his hands. With hardly a glance at the anatomical models, he lumbers across the room to stand before me. He presents the object to me, cradled in his upturned palms. It's a music box. "Nah," he says again, jerking his head toward the box. Hesitantly, I raise my hands to the box. I begin to lift it out of his palms. "Nah!" he screams, clutching the sacred vessel against his chest and scorning me with a frown of betrayal. I'm sorry, I say, holding up my hands in dramatized surrender. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. She didn't mean it, my paramour interjects. Give us another chance. The giant looks at us both, carefully, for what feels like a very long time. Then, painfully slowly, he extends the box to me once more. Na, he says again, this time gesturing toward the key on its side. I reach out and turn it. The three of us stand still and listen. At first, the sparkling little notes sound random, disorganized. I can't make out a coherent melody. But then, something familiar slips into the music. It takes me a minute to place it, but finally it lands. It's Frank Sinatra's My Way. My paramour realizes at the same time I do. I know because he gives me that look, the look of mutual recognition I first saw on that day at the diner 2 weeks ago, the look that made me run away with him. Then he starts to sway his hips. He sidles up to the giant, gently takes both of those overgrown hands in his own, and together they start to dance. The key winds down again sometime around the 3rd hour. The giant is freshly asleep, one enormous arm flung across the duvet, chest rising and falling. We've been dancing. We've been playing other games no one has names for. My companion pulls the duvet up to the giant's chin, tenderly. I crawl onto his other side. For a moment, the three of us exist together in the blood-red dark, and I stroke the giant's head until I'm sure. Let's go, my companion says. I found us some money. At the bedroom door, I turn back. The music box sits on the nightstand, a small and glorious thing. I put it in my bag. The next evening, we stop the car at a lakeside to watch the crimson sunset. What are you thinking about? He asks. If I could open up my body, vivisect myself in clean, ordered lines, expose my liver and spleen and intestines to the penetrating light of the bright red sun, I would. I don't tell him that. I say, I'm thinking about Frank Sinatra. I throw my phone into the lake. He throws his too. Get on your knees, I say. He kneels in front of me. I take the music box out of my bag and turn the key. Then we lie down together in the dirt. He pulls up my dress. The end.
Thank you. Thank you so much for reading that. I really enjoyed listening to it.
Thank you.
You got a great reading voice. I think the first thing I'm curious about is, was it different, or is there anything you noticed differently when you read it out loud from when you read it?
Yeah, in my mind, the story has this like really aggressive forward driving pace, but when I read it out loud, it felt a little more contemplative.
Interesting.
Which was just, it was a little bit strange, but I think it kind of works that way too.
Yeah. What was the seed of the piece? Where did it? How did this arrive in you?
Yeah, so it's very loosely inspired by a one-off comic by Grant Morrison called "Kill Your Boyfriend," which is about like a high school girl who lives like a normal life in England or maybe Scotland, in the UK, and she's her life it's miserable and it's boring and it's mundane. And she meets this kind of dashing outlaw young man, and he takes her off on a journey of sex, drugs, and violence. And it's like in Kill Your Boyfriend, it's really fun. It's a fun little fantasy of like being totally unbound, but but the main characters are like, they're quite violent and cruel, you know, like they're not, you wouldn't actually want to experience what they experience or do what they do. So I kind of wanted to do a version of the same sort of idea of this like unshackling of the self into a world of transgression that like had that transgressive edge, but maybe wasn't quite so morally turpitudinous. It's still not great in this one, but at least they're not killing anybody.
I think I was saddest when she took the music box at the end.
Yeah,
I was so upset.
Yeah, I mean, that felt very important to me, that she does that, yeah.
I think, both of this and another piece you wrote, I don't know the pronunciation,
Chimera, yeah.
Both of them ended, I had great feelings at the ending. I really laughed at the end of the Chimera. I really didn't expect
I'm glad to hear that.
Choice. Yeah, I don't know how to discuss pieces like this incredibly well. I will ask questions, but also you are welcome to be like, I do not know the answer, or I am the artist and I will not reveal. Where did the mute come from? Why is he...
yeah, so...
He feels almost like a child between the two of them, which is such an odd thing to arrive at in this journey of chaos and crime.
Yeah, I did want them to have a little moment where it felt like they were kind of luridly simulating a nuclear family. So I'm glad that came across. But that character is really shamelessly ripped off from my favorite film, which is called Cemetery Man. Okay. And there's a character in it who is a giant named Nagi who only says "na," and he is like sort of this picture of perpetual innocence. And I wanted, I thought for a long time about like, well, they go to this house. I know they break into the house and they encounter someone there, but who? Like, what happens? And I don't know how it occurred to me exactly, but I think essentially what I wanted was for the main character, for the narrator to have a moment where because the whole story is really about her having this like threat assessment system that's always running, which we all have all the time. I think I think everyone has it to some extent. But she's running it. She's looking for threats. She's anxious. She's worried. And I wanted her to have this moment where her anxiety reaches a crescendo. There's an actual threat appearing, like the potentially the owner of the house is back, and then instead of being the threat she expects, it's this like totally innocent, gentle thing. And I think it teaches her in that moment to not be afraid anymore. And the way I see the music box, taking the music box at the end, is like the music box becomes this like talismanic object that represents the sort of unguarded innocence of the giant, like his fearlessness. And she takes it with her to replace the threat assessment system that has been running in her head her whole life.
Yeah. I mean, I got to get past this, but I'm really upset that I imagine that he gains some fear from losing it. I imagine he's not happy with losing it.
He may. Perhaps fear is a bit of a zero-sum game.
Right. You've been here at Inkhaven for like 10 days now.
Mm-hmm.
Did this piece, I think you went to one of the feedback circles on it. Did that affect it in any way? What was it like to get feedback? Not terribly
much. I made some like pretty minor. Oh, well, actually, so when I went to the feedback circle, I hadn't written the little sex scene yet. It was just like there were just brackets. It said like sex scene here.
In the bed in the house.
Yeah, in the bed in the house. So I didn't really know how far into the erotica I was going to go. I didn't know how graphic it was going to be. And in the feedback circle, people said that they felt it was really important that that scene both like kept ramping up the surreal aspect, that it wasn't just like a pause in the surreal dreamlike quality of the story, but like kept building on that, and also that it incorporated this like vivisection theme. So I ended up writing the sex scene to incorporate both of those things.
It does.
Yeah.
She keeps looking at the Venus.
The anatomical Venus, yeah.
And then the abrupt change from something so adult to interfacing with someone so childlike is quite substantial.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra's My Way. Is Ronnie a character in this?
No. was funny that he did that. I didn't know he was gonna sing that the other day.
I see. But yeah, I loved so many of your ways with words, and you felt I really don't know your writing background. I'm curious about it because I just lines like we've been playing other games as well. Oh, sorry, we've been playing other games that nobody has names for. Just I really liked your way with words. What's your writing background then?
Well, I have a bit of a strange relationship to writing. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I knew it was very important to me. But around age 11, and I used to write all the time when I was a kid, just poems and things like that. And around age 11, something happened, and I just stopped writing very much. And I developed this like incredible block and resistance against it. But it was something that I like thought about every day of my life. To this day, I think about it almost every day. Like, I really should be writing. I know that's the most important thing, but I like have so much trouble with it. I struggle with it tremendously. And this is all the reason why I'm at Incaven in the first place.
Yeah. I'm curious, how's it been going for you, the Incaven experience?
It's been pretty good so far, actually. Like, I've written 2 actual pieces of fiction since I've been here, which I wasn't sure how much fiction I was going to write, because fiction is sort of like the grand boss, the final boss of writing to me, and I'm working up toward writing a YA novel. That's another thing that I really want to do. It's part of why I'm here, just like sort of exercising my writing muscles so that I can ultimately write a novel. But I didn't even think I was going to write that much fiction here. I thought I'd be too scared. So the fact that I've written 2 pieces so far is pretty incredible. I'm just very happy with that.
Good. Is there anything else that's surprised you about being here at Incaven?
Everything is very surprising about it. I mean, the people here are such characters. I thought I was kind of expecting it to be more rationalist heavy. It's really not. It's really not at all.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like, well, it's very diverse. It's quite diverse, but there's quite a strong contingent of real artistically oriented people here who are interested in like high art and culture and are here to be like writers more so than like bloggers. Because I'm not that interested in like blogging as such. I'm interested in writing, and I wasn't sure how many other people here were going to have that sensibility, but a lot of them do. They're also extremely strange and very just diverse. I mean, there aren't a lot of environments where you have people coming together and like they're really all across the age range from 20s to 50s, from all over the country, some from Europe, and like all drawn together by this like sort of question mark of affinity. Like, it's like, what are we all drawn here by? It's not something you can name. It's just some kind of a vagary of fate that has brought us together. But I think it's those kind of environments where like, you really feel like you're in like a magical incubator, like a magic incubator.
It's interesting to say, hear about your blog. I feel like your blog is less of just a series of stories or tales or something, and more of a manifesto for your values.
Sometimes it is.
I think you had your equanimousness piece.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Andrew Bird's song, Tenuous Listlessness.
I don't know it.
I listened to it a lot as a teenager. But you said if you were to choose your between beauty, goodness, and truth, you'd always choose beauty. Yeah. I'm curious where that's come from. Where you've spent time thinking about this in particular.
That's a rather deep question, Ben.
Sorry.
I don't know if that's one I can really answer. I think it's just a matter of a sort of innate sensibility. I don't know. Can you really argue that one is inherently better than the others? Like, no. But I think beauty is just the one that feels the richest to me, the most complex, a little more complex, certainly more complex than goodness, and only slightly more complex than truth. But at least beauty, I mean, since it is in the eye of the beholder, you get to decide what beauty is. Truth is more slippery.
Reality has its opinions, and you have yours.
Yeah. And I guess actually, okay. So I do have an answer to this. I think there's like a way that I want to feel. That's the ideal way to feel, and it's like, I mean, I think this story kind of gets it across. It's like turned on and a little bit feral, and like feeling this charge, this propulsive momentum toward something, towards some kind of zenith of fate, right? And I think beauty is the one that like holds that kind of feeling, like that, like it's in beauty that you really can find that feeling most easily, more so than goodness or truth.
The feeling, the tide that keeps pulling her forwards into these crazy situations.
Yeah. I think the narrator is in her way chasing beauty. Yeah.
Interesting. I want to bring up something I have not mentioned to you yet, which is that one of the pieces you submitted that I enjoyed was about a video game called Pathologic 2,
Yeah.
which I have also spent a decent amount of time playing. I thought of that partly because I don't normally like that genre of game. It's I will call it a survival horror, but that's not quite getting it right.
It's close.
Yeah. But it's suddenly a very bleak game where you're constantly having to make difficult decisions and finding out that you've made the wrong ones.
Yes.
For me, it's truth that pulls me forward into playing that. There's some aspect of the world that I flinch from looking at, and I would like to not flinch from looking at any aspect of reality. And so I'm trying to go into that. That said, it's also a very beautiful game. The architecture, the strange characters.
Yeah.
Did beauty pull you into playing that?
Certainly. But it's a sublime kind of beauty, of course.
Yeah.
You know, it's really suffused with darkness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I've only played it 10 hours. I'm hoping to, at some point, be fine. It was difficult, and I was ill at the time. I always put down unpleasant things. Dostoevsky, I read a bunch of it, and then I was very sick, and I was like, I do not wish for any more of this. But I should read more of it.
Yeah.
I mean, play more of it.
Yes, it's very good. It's very, very good. It's an initiation.
I think for the Chimera, I think Wales said you talked that through with him.
A little bit, yes.
I think you initially, he was like,
actually.
You had just the opening or something.
Yes, I only had the opening lines. And I was like, I don't know what else happens in this story. Help. And Wales did help me.
Yeah. I'm just curious where the other pieces are coming from, the other blog posts and so on.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all over the place. It's one really great thing about being here is that you can just talk to people, and somewhere in a conversation, some idea for what your post for the day is going to be will pop out. I'm a little worried that when I get home, I won't have that anymore, and then I won't be able to write. Yeah, I mean, this is such a conducive environment for writing. It's really, really wonderful.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful.
Glad to hear it. I always like to ask people where they physically write around Lighthaven. I think you found your favorite spot.
I have a bower. I have my little bower. I've colonized it.
We have a man called Art. He builds art, and he's built a lot of the wooden cabins. And that one is a little hidden. Some people often don't even notice it's there, even though it's relatively central. That is your hideout.
Yes, it's hidden away among the palm fronds.
So it sounds like Kinghaven's working fairly well for you, and that you're writing more.
Yes, definitely. And I'm also getting this really crazy, kind of psychedelic experience of having some bad days where I don't have any energy, and I still produce a 500-word post from scratch, and it's not great. It's not a great work of art or anything, but there's something about it that is capturing this is something I've had locked in me for a long time that I did want to say, and for that reason it feels good and right and rewarding.
Yeah.
You know? And that's really valuable.
Yeah. I think I had a similar this time due to having to run a podcast, I'm not also writing, but last time, in addition to running it for the last 20 days, I also wrote daily, and sometimes it would just hit 10 p.m. I'd be like, wow, I got to write a post. And I'd just be like, all right, Memories of a British Boarding School #3. And just be like, there's these stories I've never told, which I guess they're coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something quite beautiful about that, even in these little sort of unpolished things.
Is there anything you'd like to do? So you've experienced the first 10 days, or you have found yourself here, you've grown some accustomed to it. Is there anything you'd like to do differently over the next 20 than how you've done the first 10?
That's a good question. Let me think. Well, I'm certainly feeling a little burned out, and I'm afraid that I'm not going to top the 2 stories I've written. So I want to find a way to top myself, but only when my energy system is truly ready for it. Definitely, I think part of what I'm learning or discovering here is just something about like how the tides of energy move through my body and how that relates to the writing process. I also just want to spend more quality time with people. It is a little difficult, and there are 55 residents, and I feel like I've met maybe 30, probably maybe not even that many. So like on the first day I thought like this girl went up at the opening ceremony and was like, last time I made a spreadsheet of all the residents so that I could make sure that I had a 5-minute conversation with all of them. And I was like, that's ridiculous. You don't need a spreadsheet. Like, you'll talk to everyone. It's not the case. Yeah. like the campus is sprawling. Some people are reclusive, and there is this weird sort of like I seem to have this like involuntary blindness to the people who are like writing about science and AI policy. I'm like, where are they? I don't see them. Who? But like the other people who write like unhinged fiction, I found immediately on day one. I don't know how that happened.
I wonder because I think last time when we had writing circles, we didn't have any themes for them. So I think people ended up reading very different stuff.
Yeah.
This time we have like a fiction and creative writing one and a science and technical one. Curious if you think it's been helped. Do you like the world where you get to go to a circle and read primarily a bunch of other interesting pieces of fiction, or do you think you prefer a world where...
Oh, I definitely prefer the focused feedback circle.
Good.
Definitely. That makes a lot more sense.
As well as being an interview, this is also a user interview where I figure out how to improve things.
Feedback interview?
Yeah. You were writing at 11, or before 11 at least. Were you writing Lynchian erotica at that period? When did this grow out of you?
I think my taste for that sort of thing, it started pretty young. I mean, I was a big fan of Lolita when I was a very young girl. Like, I really loved Lolita when I was 13, 14, when I was still Lolita age.
Sure.
So, I mean, it developed quite young, but my very favorite writer is a man named Thomas Ligotti, who's kind of like the spiritual successor to Lovecraft. I often call him the love child of Lovecraft and Nabokov, because he's like really this like absolutely incredibly skilled literary stylist. He's obsessed with literary style, and he's just excellent. But like his stories have this really baroque, nihilistic, just brutality. Not in the like gore, physical violence sense, but in the philosophical sense. And I'm very much trying to, not necessarily trying, but I think I sort of naturally get a lot of my sensibility from him, and I do see myself like at my very best. Like I would love to sort of like continue in his tradition, but bringing in a lot more of the raw eroticism to it.
You said you kind of stopped writing around 11, but I mean, I've read a few pieces from you. This does not feel like someone who stopped writing at 11. I imagine you have written a fair amount since then?
A little bit here and there, here and there. I wrote one short story that I really love about 10 years ago. And I don't think I had written another short story since then, until I came to Inkhaven, actually.
Okay.
But I have written, I've written a LARP. So this is quite, the LARP that I wrote is rather complex. It takes over 200 pages of material. And so I did get a lot of writing experience just with writing the character sheets for the LARP and designing it.
Yeah. I think you have been around the rationalist scene for quite some time.
Quite a while, yes.
Yeah. Why?
Why? It's interesting. It's funny, like I went back in 2018. I went to an Enneagram workshop. Do you know what the Enneagram is?
I'm aware of,
personality typing system that has a kind of spiritual angle to it also. I went to an Enneagram workshop in upstate New York, and I met someone there who was part of the rationalist community, but didn't really seem very rationalist at all. He was like very magical and esoteric, and like we got along very well. And I was like, wow, he was really cool. When I go back to New York, I'm going to go meet the other rationalists. Maybe they'll be like him. They're not, but they were awesome. And I found the New York rationalists, and they just sort of like welcomed me into their fold very quickly. I think the rationalists tend to view me as sort of a charming novelty. But the way the subculture has like grown and expanded, even in the time since I became part of it, it is very diffuse now. It's quite diffuse. And there's like the strong, like orthodox rationalist core, but there are so many people like you, yes, but there are so many people orbiting around it who are not really like that, and who also like fill different roles in the community. Like I think me and my best friend, who we've collaborated to put on a few events for this community. I guess we're kind of like they're troubadours sometimes. They're visiting troubadours.
It's very it's wonderful to have visiting troubadours.
Yes, good. I hope so. But I've thought a fair amount about why I get along with the rationalists so well, and I don't really have an answer. I think it's just like this high trait openness is just a big part of it. High trait openness, and not getting too offended by anything.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's something like that. But really, it is kind of mysterious.
Yeah, I mean, I love. I think it was Zoe was saying that she also expected primarily kind of I'm gonna put words in her mouth because I don't think it's what she said. I'm gonna say nerdy autistic rationalists, and she was surprised to find a diversity of people. And I was primarily my answer was, but the writing is great. And she's like, oh, I'm not I disagree. I guess I didn't expect the people here, these kinds of people here. And I was like, yeah, but I read their writing and I want to read more of it.
That's a good metric. Yeah.
That's the metric basically. You mentioned in a different piece that you have almost an entire post raging against equanimity.
Yes.
And in this story, the lady is very attracted to his patience and his calm, or his like willingness to follow some other desire at a otherwise stressful moment.
Yeah.
Naively, these seem slightly in tension to me. I'm curious how you think of those two things. Do you not think of that second thing as a certain amount of like equanimity with the world?
Oh, it is equanimity. I'm not completely sure that I would be attracted to this man in the story.
I see. Oh yeah, I don't know why I made that particular assumption.
But he does. But I think his equanimity in the story is a very important plot device.
Yeah.
because he needs to show her, he needs to model for her that like everything actually is okay. Even though she doesn't believe it. And also there's something, I don't know, there's something I'm playing with here about like being weirdly blessed, just believing that you're blessed and then being blessed. Like, I don't know. I think that's what he's showing her. Like he believes he's blessed and then he's blessed.
Yeah, you said that her with the music box and the mute is part of her learning that things are okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's something you believe?
No.
Why'd you call it learning?
It's not something I believe. Well, she learns it in her, in her life, her life arc, right?
I see.
It's not really something I believe, but the story is about this sort of like, this question of like, what would it take? What would it take to actually like throw away everything in your life that you depend on, everything that you think is... Because one thing I do believe is that kind of like this world that we live in, this life that we live in, is often very like constructed and fake. And I often do feel the crushing weight of its tawdriness sort of pressing upon me. And I think in a sense the story is a fantasy of like being able to like fling that away.
And for it to still be okay?
And for things to still be okay. Or if they're not okay, like you find a way. Because I do think that's possible. I do believe that that's possible, like to find a state where even though things might not be okay, they're still okay, if that makes sense. Some kind of like inner peace that lasts. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe not forever, but it can be more and more stable with time, I suppose. But I don't think that needs to look like equanimity necessarily.
Right.
In fact, It could be quite the opposite.
That makes sense. Yeah, and I think it's a great sort of starting device for her to have thrown her whole life away. That's a great place from which chaos can emerge.
Yeah.
What do you find here in common with people, and what do you find not in common, different?
Let me think about it. Well, everyone is very specific, and I love that. People are, whatever they're doing, they're trying to like take it one layer deeper, and then another layer deeper, and then another layer deeper, and the range of interests, they're both like the breadth and depth of intellectual interests here is pretty fascinating. I actually feel like, compared to everyone else, this is one way I'm different. I'm like a little more of like a just vibes, like artist weirdo. I don't have these like very like crystal palaces of intellectual knowledge in my mind. But there is a sort of sensibility that I think I share with a lot of people here of just like going after that weird thing, that special, strange, specific point of view, whatever it might be. And
you certainly have a specific intention.
Yes. Yes, everyone here is very curious
Nice.
about other people, about different things. Sometimes other people, sometimes the world, sometimes these kind of extroverted thinking sort of interests, sometimes these very introverted thinking kind of interests, but definitely very curious. Everyone's very curious.
That's great.
Yeah.
Why did you apply for Inkhaven? What about it led you to be like, I think there's something there that I would like?
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm trying to write a YA novel. This has been banging on the door of my mind for the past year. It's like God telling me, you need to write the novel. It's time to write the novel. And I'm like, me? Why me? And God's like, it's just got to be you. It's got to be now. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I tried to work on the novel for the first few months of 2026 and got a little bit of somewhere, but really I was just like, this is way too ambitious. Like, I can't write a novel right now. I haven't written enough. Like, narrative structure doesn't come naturally to me. Like, I can't do this. If only I had a place where I could go, where I'd be forced to just write little playful things until my relationship to writing is transmuted into something saucy, erotic, and playful. And I was saying this to a friend, and he's like, oh, isn't that like Sky Alexander's thing that's happening at Lighthaven soon? And I was like, what? Really? He's like, yeah. And I went and looked it up, and I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. And Lighthaven is like my favorite place in the world. I love it here. I love it here. I'm just like so happy to be here every time I'm here.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Great. These are all the questions I wrote down.
Great.
Is there any other question I should have asked about this piece, or?
No, I don't think so.
Great.
I think we're good.
If people want to keep reading your writing, they can find it. Remind me the name of your Substack?
I think it's just called Thessaly Blue.
Thessaly
right?
Blue.
It's just called Thessaly Blue.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not, I'll record me saying a different word and put it over your mouth.
It's thessalyblue.substack.com.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading more things from you this Inkhaven.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you
for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for joining. All right. That'll do for now. Farewell. Before we wrap up, I'd just like to thank our sponsor for this episode, WordPress.com. As a teenager, many of the blogs I grew up reading were built using WordPress, such as Slaystar Codex, Don't Worry About the Vars, and Shtetl Optimized. The co-founder of WordPress, Matt Mullenweg, went on to build WordPress.com, a hosting service that supports bloggers. It provides an interface that allows you to design your website and to use the near infinite family of libraries and plugins that have been built for WordPress. If you're someone who cares to be able to design your own blog, for your ideas, for your writing, and for your own aesthetic, then by far one of the best options on the internet today is WordPress.com.